All right. I want to talk about the topic on the screen, you guys, because I've seen a lot of lives about black women not being raised to be wives. And, I think that a lot of times in the black community, the problem that we have is that we don't actually talk about the true issues. What we do is we find some type of way to blame black women for everything. And in a patriarchal society, which is what we have, and men that want it to still be patriarchal, I find it to be odd that men are not willing to take accountability for things that they are doing, atmospheres that they are creating, situations that they are causing. So I want to talk about this because I have seen like literally 4 lives today about black women not being raised to be wives in the black community and how they're pushing away black men and all this other BS. So I want to talk about it. First of all, black men are not raised to be husbands in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Nor do black men value marriage at all. They are the least married group in the United States of America, including black women, because black women marry more if you look at lifetime marriage. So let's talk about this. Number one, and I would love to hear from anybody that would like to talk. A man, a woman, as long as you are black, is fine with me. Number one, why do black men say that black women aren't raised to be wives when the culture is for black men not to value marriage and they very rarely marry statistically? That's the number one question. I'd like somebody to talk about it. Also, number two, I'd like to ask the question, do black men know how to be husbands? If so, who is instilling how to be a husband in black men? Who's teaching you that? Since you say that the single mothers aren't teaching you anything and that the single mothers, it's their fault that you are criminals and you ruin society, it is the mother's fault. So, and the fathers are not there. Who's teaching you how to be a husband? How do you know? Yeah. Also, I'd like to talk about number 3. Men only, I would like to ask this question. What is being a husband? Have you looked forward to being a husband? Is that something that you thought about all your life? Number 3 is strictly for men to answer. That's what I would love to know. So let's see here. Let me block this person real fast. Yes. So I want to talk about this because, I was on the live a couple days ago and this black man that was married, he was saying how, the problem in the black community is that black women aren't raised to be wives from their youth up, and that what should be happening is that when little black girls are coming up, that their mothers should be telling them how to cater to a man, how to treat a man, how to center a man, how to be nice and docile and submissive and sweet and caring and loving to a man. Now, and that she should be thinking about the ways that she can be a wife. Why would you want to encourage a group of women to center their lives around being a wife when the men in the community that they belong to do not value marriage, do not value partnership, do not value relationships? You're setting your child up, your daughter up to be a doormat. In what world is marriage prized among black men? You hear black men yelling about going to work every day, yelling about 50-50, yelling about how they're not going to protect black women, yelling about how you going to do everything I say, and all of these other things. So exactly why would you set your daughter up? Not to mention that 30% or less of black men will ever marry. So the majority of black men will not ever marry. They're on here talking about Red Pill told them not to marry because they're going to have to pay alimony, even though the majority of them don't have enough money to, even though the majority of them don't have enough money to ever pay alimony. And the majority of couples of all races don't pay alimony. So, and they're telling them, hey, girl, you don't got to get married. So, and they're telling them, hey, girl, you don't got to get married. We don't need a piece of paper. We don't need the white tea man in our business. You can be my friend with benefits for 20, 25, 30 years. So exactly what in the world, exactly what in the world would instilling the value of marriage and being a wife, how would that help Black girls? How would that help Black girls? How would that help Black women? You're teaching them to prepare for something that they will never get, more than likely. The majority will not get if they're looking for a Black man. So that's something that I really, really, really want to talk about. I hope I can get some men up here because I really want to know. I really want to know. And I'm tired of the fake narratives that are not rooted in any type of logic. If we think about who is really not taught to be a proper mate or whatever, for Black men, we have their already disrespect of marriage and loyalty and commitment. We also have Black men that have created a whole entire genre of music of degrading women and saying that women are only good for one thing. So I don't know exactly where these loving, kind, protector, provider, respectful Black men are coming from that were in middle school and in high school saying, you know what? The only thing I want to do is be a husband to a Black woman and protect her and cover her and make her life easier. I don't hear the collective of Black men saying that. I don't even hear the collective of, I hear, well, you know what I hear? Oh, you know what? You going 50-50. You going to have a job too. You think you going to be living off me? You think I'm going to make your life easier? Yeah, I thought that marriage was supposed to, a man's job was to make the wife's life easier, right? That's not even a sentiment in the Black community. So, anyway, like I said, these are the topics that I want to talk about because I'm getting real tired of hearing it. Real tired of hearing it. And it's crazy because I understand that when you hear certain, phrases or certain subjects or certain topics that they can be triggering for anybody. It can make anybody mad. But I will say this, I don't understand the idea of having long roundtable conversations about things that can easily be disproven by looking at statistics, numbers, trends. I don't understand society. I don't understand it. But anyway, that's what I want to talk about today. Hopefully I can get some people in the box. Let's see here. Let me read y'all comments. The Redhead 47, you said they want to be YT. Number 2, you said no, that would take being a decent human, which they struggle with. Princess V, you said, yeah, I'm not teaching my daughters that. I would definitely hope that you would not, Princess. That would be the wrong move to make. The wrong move to make to teach your daughter how to be a wife and how to center Black men. Because I can guarantee you 9 times out of 10, that sentiment is not going to be returned. And unfortunately, you'll just be setting your child up to be a doormat. And who wants to do that? Nobody wants that for their child. Nobody at all. At least not a good mother. And I'm sure that you're a great mother. Yeah. So anyway, like I said, hopefully I can get some men up here because I would love to hear from Black men. Since they always say, like I said, that Black women aren't raised to be wives. In what ways are Black men raised to be husbands? In what way? Like, are they protecting Black women in the community? Are they supporting Black women in the community? Are they building, constant and consistent good relationships with their mothers and sisters and daughters and building up the community? I want to know. Anyway, y'all, I'm going to just keep it going here for about 5 minutes and see if I can get some people to get into the box, some in. If I can't, I may go to my backup page because I haven't been live on here for a couple days, and sometimes it doesn't push it out to as many people. Or I might even go live on YouTube. But y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. I might go silent for just 1 second because I'm going to put up on my community tab that I'm having a live right now. But I would really love to hear from some black men specifically. I will give you 2 minutes to speak uninterrupted. It doesn't matter what you say, even if I don't agree. I will give you 2 minutes to speak uninterrupted. I'm willing to do that because I really would love to hear the answers to 1, 2, and 3 for the men. Or if you just want to answer number 3, that'll be fine with me. But I'll see. I'll see what's going on. You guys, I might go just quiet for just 1 second because I'm about to put this on my community tab on YouTube to go live on there if I can't get enough men in the box. So y'all just give me a second. Hopefully I can get... Okay, you guys. Hopefully I went ahead and put it on my community tab. Sorry I was gone. I put it on my community tab on YouTube. So if I can't get any people to come, if I can't get anybody to come on over here, then I'll just go on YouTube. Well, first, no, I'll take that back. First, I'll go on my backup page, and then I'll see if YouTube will work. Matter of fact, you guys, I think that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go on my backup page. My backup page is Trigger Thoughts of a BW. Trigger Thoughts of a BW. I'm going to go over there right now, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so just in case you want to still continue this conversation, I'm going to go to Trigger Thoughts. I want to talk about the topics on the screen. Are black men raised to be husbands? What do you think about that? Do you think that's true? Because, we have a lot of discourse here on TikTok about, are black women raised to be... I don't think that we ever asked the question, are black men raised to be husbands? Do black men prize marriage? So if black men don't value marriage or aren't raised to be good husbands, what would you be preparing black women for other than the okie doke? So anyway, that's what I want to talk about. Number 1, why do black men say that black women aren't raised to be wives when they don't value marriage and very rarely marry? So you would be preparing a girl for something that more than likely she will never have. Why would you prepare somebody for that? Number 2, do black men know how to be husbands? Let's talk about that. Number 3, I want to talk about, this is just for men only. I would like for men to ask, what is being a husband? What do you think that is? What is a black man? What exactly do you think the responsibilities of a husband is supposed to do? What do you do for your wife in being a husband? I would love to know that. Anyway, these are the topics that I want to talk about. Hopefully, I can get some men in the box to answer these questions because I really do think that the problem that we have with the black community is that, oftentimes we never look at the root cause of anything that's going on. We just go ahead and attack the woman and say that it's their fault. But yet the men that attack the women and for the state of the community want to put it all on women. And it doesn't make any sense to me. Because how can you be a leader? How can you want somebody to submit to you? How can you be the boss and you can't even take responsibility for the state that everything is in? You want to put it on the women. So if you want to put it on the women, then that means the women are in charge. The women are the leaders. And that means that you're supposed to be submitting to the leaders, which aren't you, if that's how you want to do it. But, yeah. So I want to talk about this. Like I said, if anybody could please send me a request, get in a box. I would love to hear a man answer question number 3. I will let you speak uninterrupted for 2 minutes, as long as you're not using curse words or anything like that. I would love to hear you speak for 2 minutes and answer. You can answer all the questions if you would like, but I definitely would love to hear the answer to number 3. What is being a husband to a black man? What are you supposed to do for the wife? What are your responsibilities as a man? If you're a husband, what are your duties? What do you owe her? Or do you think you owe her anything? I would love to hear that. I would love to hear it. And I think a lot of times that when we have these conversations and we talk about black girls and black women, you know, not being raised to be wives, I think we often neglect the truth of the black community. Where is the world or the black community a safe space for black women to just relax and chill and be somebody's wife? Like, to point me to the majority of black women that are somewhere laid up, being put up and taken care of, and they're just enjoying their easy life. This isn't happening. So we have to prepare black girls and black women for the reality of the world. But like I said, I would love to hear a man come up and tell me the answer to number 3. Would love to hear it. Would love to hear it. And I will say it again. I will let you speak uninterrupted. But I think that when we talk about the black community, right, the majority of black men don't value marriage. And, you know, you cannot say that this is my personal opinion or I'm in my feelings or anything like that, because statistically, black men marry the least. That's a statistic, excuse me. Also, lifetime marriage, black men marry even less than black women. So those two things are facts. So how can you say that black women aren't raised to be wives when every other second you're telling black women, oh, y'all never get married. Oh, statistically, nobody's marrying y'all. We don't marry y'all. Y'all not getting married. Y'all never be married. Y'all will always be by yourself. You'll always be with a cat. Well, if that's the case, then why would you then prepare girls for something that probably has a snowball's chance and you know what of happening? I don't make that make sense. Like, what are we doing? So shouldn't we prepare women and girls for something that is actually a reality, which is black women learning how to take care of themselves, support themselves, be successful so that they can live their life on their own terms? When they want to go out of town or when they want to go to out to eat or go out with their girls, that they should be able to do that without worrying about money. Let's see here. David Paramore says, why buy the milk when the milk is free? David Paramore. Can I tell you something, David? I'm going to hold your hand when I tell you this, David Paramore. I can honestly guarantee you that the only way you're getting the milk is if you're paying for it, respectfully. I saw your profile picture. The only way you're getting the milk from anybody is if you pay for it. Don't be fronting and lying in here. Okay? Nobody's giving you free anything. Okay? Period. Except a free block and telling you to get lost. Hey, how you doing, Miss Chrissy, baby? Good morning. Yeah, some of y'all live in super duper delusion, and it's actually scary to me how disconnected from reality some of y'all are. Anyway, like I said, if I could get some men up here, I would love to. And it's so funny. It makes me so mad because if I had a topic up here, a prompt, for people to just go in on black women, then it will be plenty of men that will want to get in a box to do that. Let's see here. David Paramore says, ooh, so go on a personal attack when facts hurt your feelings, cognitive dissonance. First of all, I know you just learned the word cognitive dissonance, and also fact search your feelings. I'm married, David Paramore. So it wouldn't hurt my feelings. I'm married. That's number one. Number two, I didn't go on a personal attack, David. I told you the truth. I mean, I think we can all be objective here. I looked at your profile photo. You're not attractive. You're not hot. You're not sexy. And you don't look like you have any money. So what I said is, I know that you're not getting milk for free. You're not. And if you are, it's the lowest tier, lowest hanging fruit women that are available for men. That I'm just telling you the truth. That's not a personal attack. I'm sorry if you feel like it is, but it's not. I was just trying to tell you the truth. Because a lot of y'all live in delusion about the type of men that you are. Y'all get on these like red pill podcasts, and all of you incels, tell each other that y'all are hot and that y'all are in your prime, and all of the, you know what I mean? And no one's telling you that but other men. That's what's disturbing to me. Let's see here. Cave Dweller says, hey, Cave Dweller, are you black? If you are, get in a box. If you're not, get out of here. You got 30 seconds to accept my request. Thank you so much for following me, Miss Chrissy, baby. That on YouTube. Thank you. Yeah. So anyway, like I said, anybody can come in the box though if y'all want and talk about this topic. Like any of y'all can come in. It's not like I just want men to come in, but I did think that it would be good to talk to men about number 3, because I would love to pick their brain on what they think being a husband is. And to tell me how they were raised to be husbands. Like, what did their mother instill in them? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did your mother tell you? Or, because you say that the fathers aren't there and that all the blame is on the single mother. So, what did your mother tell you? Did your mother raise you how to be, a good husband? Did your dad raise you to be a good husband? Were you prioritizing marriage all your life? Like, oh, I can't wait. I can't wait till I get to be an adult man and I get to be a husband and take care of my wife and support her and treat her kindly and make her life better and easier. Because if you're a man and you get into a woman's life and you make it more difficult and you're not making your presence a benefit, then why wouldn't she just be alone? Would it be just to say that she's married? Because no, it should be that you're actually actively making her life easier. And in some form or some way, you're improving her life. If you're not doing that, she could easily be alone. And she wouldn't have to worry about anything. As far as, the stressors that come along with having a man. It's stressors that come along with anything when you're dealing with another person. It stresses when you have kids. It stresses when you deal with your parents. It stresses when you have a man. All of that. Tuesday, Janae, you said men are not socialized to, well, I get what you're saying. BMs are not socialized to be husbands at all. Not in this day and age. I absolutely agree with you. Miss Chrissy, baby, is peaceful by myself. I'm not going to lie. And I understand that. Because very rarely are you going to find a man that is actually going to improve your life circumstances or add value versus putting more on you than you had already when it was just you. And that's just the fact, And, in the Black community, we have a culture of disrespecting women. Black Poppy says both parties can be alone, especially when family law and divorce adjudications are anti-male. Black Poppy, that's not true at all. They're not anti-male. They were put in place by men. That's number one. Number two, men benefit from being with women. There is a male loneliness epidemic, not a female loneliness epidemic. So that's not true at all. I like how y'all like to say that women are, you know what I mean? It's on an equal playing field. It's not. Men suffer when they don't have a woman in their life. They actually go crazy. They become violent. They become aggressive. They act out. There's a lot of things that go on with men that are not partnered. And if you're a lawyer, which I doubt, but you should see that as well. And if you say that you don't, then you're being dishonest, intellectually dishonest. Anyway, like I was saying, the only people that benefit in not being partnered up are women. That's it. There are, let's see here. Miss Chrissy Baby, you said celibacy and being single are two different things. Men are more desperate for intimacy. Absolutely. I definitely agree. But I think that it's even more than that, because a lot of men cannot exist or survive without the emotional labor, the mammying of women. Like, if you notice, like when you go to a man's house and he doesn't have a woman, a girlfriend, a wife, a fiance, a partner, whatever, how the house looks. That's why women are so shocked that they go to a man's house and it looks the way it needs to look. Because women are adding to that place, making it a home, doing this, that, and the third. Men benefit from women's presence. Let's see here. Afani says, no, I don't believe that black men know how to be a husband or have the materials to become a husband. I don't either, but it is a situation of exactly. Just like you said, Afani, we as black women have mammied, coddled black men so much that they're not even aware of what it takes to even be men. And not to mention that I don't feel like they even want to be, because everything in the black community is black women's fault. Even when you say, hey, because this is why I say that black women should always separate against the stats that white people weaponize against black people, because white people will tell you in a minute, black people committing the crimes, black people are doing this, black people are unaliving, but it's never that. It's actually the men. It's not black women at all. So it's not us. Statistically, it's not. So they'll talk about, well, you're going to jail. No, the black men are going to jail. So my thing is this, is that with all of these problems, we still allow black men to deflect away from all of that by saying the black community has these problems. It's black people that are doing these things. No, it isn't. It's not. It's black men doing these things. But then when there's a time to put all of the blame on black women, even when it's not something that should be blamed on us, they have no problems putting that on black women. None. Like I said, they sit there knowing that the average everyday black man does not value marriage and finding a wife. They out there trying to hit whoever they can, whoever will let them, but then they talking about you supposed to be raised up to be a wife. For what? Because if I was raised to be a wife, what does that mean? Because the majority of us, if you're trying to get a black man, you're not going to get it. So why would I be raised up to cater to you when you would never return the favor? That doesn't make any sense. So you want to raise up black girls to cater to a man that would never do the same? That will tell you, I ain't going 50-50. I'm going 50-50. I ain't paying all your bills. You think you about to be here relaxing while I'm working hard? No. Okay, well, you want me to be this nice, sweet, submissive woman that's baking cookies and rubbing your back, but you want me to be out there working 40, 50 hours just like you? Okay. That's not gonna work. Anyway, like I said, hopefully I can get some people in the box to answer these questions for me. And hopefully I can get at least one man that will be brave enough to come in the box and tell me, number 3, what is being a husband. Because like I said, the reason why, and I think it's my fault though, y'all, to be honest with y'all, that I'm letting these lives that I'm seeing other people hold trigger me. But I was on this live and the host, she was cool. But she had these dudes up there and they were talking about how the problem in the black community is that black women aren't raised to be wives. But then at the same time, want to weaponize the whole thing of black women not being married and their low marriage rates and the fact that all of these other things. And it's just like, y'all don't make sense. Everything that you say, is in direct opposition to what you just previously said. You know what I mean? It just, I had to go in there and really, 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 really go in on them. I had to tell these men, like, you cannot prepare young girls for something that more than likely is not going to happen. You want to prepare a black girl to be this taken care of wife when that's not going to be her reality. You want to tell her to submit and be docile to a group of men that expect her to go out in the world, to be aggressive, to fight, to work 40, 50 hours, to do all the cleaning, do all the cooking, do all the raising, do everything that makes her in a more, a different state, emotional state. But then you want her to do what? Pretend that she's not going through all those stressors when she see you? What? That doesn't make any sense at all, at all. And this whole thing about like preparation for marriage is to me is rooted in trying to find girls that are going to be brainwashed and too stupid to know that they're being taken advantage of. That's exactly what is rooted in trying to find a lick, in my opinion. That's what I think. Like, no, I'll prepare my daughters to tell them what to look out for. Don't let nobody play in your face. Don't trust these dudes. And if you do like one, bring him over to me. Let me vet him. We'll talk about it. We'll see what type of character he has. How is he treating you? What is his expectations on a wife? What is he going to do for you as a man? Because if a man is with you and he's not making your life easier, he's not giving you something that you can't get on your own, whatever that may be. It could be material. It could be emotional. It could be, I don't know. It shouldn't be physical though. If he's not upgrading your life, why are you there? For real. Because I can guarantee you men are going to choose a woman that makes them happy and that upgrades their lives or makes it better in some way. But for some reason, women are not supposed to choose like that. So it's just like, if you're the one that's not being, your life isn't being made better, I can guarantee you're making his better. And you're getting the short end of the stick. For sure. For sure. Like that's just anyway, like I said, hopefully I can get some people in there. Hey T, how you doing? Hey. Yeah, I definitely think it's double standards for sure. Like I said, I'm really hoping that I don't got to take this conversation to YouTube because like I don't have a lot of men that are going to come in my live on YouTube, but I'm hoping I can get some man that's willing to be brave enough to answer number 3. That's brave enough to answer number 3 from their male perspective. Now, see, and this is what I'm saying. I said this earlier, though. It's like, if I promise you, if I made a prompt like, why are black women wearing weaves? They hate themselves. Why are black women so nappy-headed and evil? Or something stupid like that. I can guarantee you that this live would be jam-packed with men just salivating for the chance to say something negative and trifling and angry and derogatory about black women. But because I'm asking a real question, now they don't got nothing to say. Let's see here. Miss Chrissy, baby, you said, I honestly don't think they know or care. They really don't want marriage. Yeah, you know what? You're right. But, it makes me mad that they weaponize something that they really don't care about against the women in their community. Or they tried to hold it over a black woman's head like a carrot. Or just like, or like, how like people use fake bait, like when fishing or something like that? Or do they always use real bait? I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? It's just a trick bag to act like they care. You know what I'm saying? Or act like it really means something when it don't. Hey, how you doing, T?
Hey, what's going up, Trigger? Miss you, girl.
You had something to say, you can?
Yeah, sure. I was saying, basically, all right, why do black men say black women aren't raised to be wives when they don't value marriage and barely married? That's $1 million question, not for nothing. That's what I usually always ask when those dudes come up on my platform. When I say marriage is a contract, and they go, "Oh, marriage is not a contract. Marriage is about love and all this other stuff. Marriage is about love and all this other stuff." And I go, "Okay." And I asked them this question. I said, "How long have you lived with a woman?" "Oh, I lived with a woman for like 7 years before." "Okay, so why isn't she your wife?" I'm like, don't answer too quickly. Now, like, like, why isn't that woman that you live with for 7 years your wife? Because you know the distinct difference between a woman living with you and a woman that's your wife. Y'all make that distinctive difference. That one piece of paper makes a big difference to y'all. Y'all do not want marriage because you're afraid of the legal obligations, but you still want the benefits of a woman that believes that she's in a marriage with you. That's the whole point why when these dudes be sitting there running around talking about, "Oh, that's the YT man's paperwork. I don't need it. We don't need it to be husband and wife." Yes, the hell you do, because you don't even consider a woman your wife unless you have legally married her. Y'all call her your girlfriend, your baby mama, your girl, your woman, all of them things, but you will not call her your wife on purpose, because you know the difference between a woman that is living with you and a woman that is your wife. Y'all know the difference, but y'all too busy trying to convince us that we shouldn't know the difference between being a wife and a woman living with you.
I definitely agree. That's why I really do feel like women should not do any type of wifely duties, live with a man, any of those things before they get married, because of that. Because a lot of men, "Oh yeah, you can come live with me," because they intend on using you up, and not they just plan on basically, I hate to break it down like this, but essentially get the cow getting the milk without buying the cow. Like
The milk
that's
for free. But yep, get why buy the cow? You can get the milk for free. That's exactly what they're doing. If we gonna put it just plain as that and cut throat, like, that is exactly what they're doing. They know that they're getting all the benefits of a wife without making you a wife. Why would they turn you into a wife? And you hear them saying that they are the gatekeepers of marriage all day, every day. But they'll be okay with you living with them, cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, all the aesthetics of having all the benefits of having a wife, all the aesthetics of what is expected of a wife without making you a wife on purpose. They know exactly what they're doing.
I agree.
Add something to that point that you made about the benefits of a wife, because it's real interesting, because essentially, you know, a lot of these men, they know they could get everything, all the free labor, all the free labor out of women, because there's so many women out here who are just like, they're believing the lies of these men or whatever. They feel like they got to audition for a man. I'll never forget that thing where all those people sit on the stage, and one lady asked her, what is it that a man can get from, a girlfriend, or that he can't get from a wife, or a wife that he can't get from a girlfriend? And this lady answered, and I'm just like, all the things that you're describing a girlfriend can't give. That's why it's for these men. These men feel like they don't have to get married because they're literally getting everything outside of marriage from girlfriends. And even women who don't even, they're not even sure of if this man claims them or not, they get so much free labor out of us.
I
A
definitely agree.
video. Yeah, that
Oh,
was a
go
video
ahead.
with Tea Time. No, I was
Yeah,
saying I
she's
seen that
on.
video that
Yeah.
she saw, and then when it was broken down, what are things that a man could get from a girlfriend he can't get from a wife? That was such. To me, that was so manipulative within itself. Like, basically, y'all. like I said, it's hard for me to kind of articulate it, like how these men will say like, yeah, there's a difference between a girlfriend or a wife, but make the girlfriend do everything that a wife is doing or supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So we hear when I hear these conversations, that's why I usually just tell women, if you with a man no longer than a year, cut it loose. Cut the relationship off, let it go. At least that's my personal opinion. Because as long as you're with a relationship with a man and he's not like basically proposing to you or trying to marry you after a year, you're literally wasting your time, and he
So
wants
here's
to
the
waste your time.
problem. Here's the problem. Here's the biggest problem, right? With marriage, with a lot of these men. The issue I have is that a lot of these men use marriage as a way to extract free labor and drain the life out of a woman. Um, for instance, I was having a conversation with a guy. He was like, there's a difference between a B word and a woman that's wife material. He was like, the quote unquote B word is the one that you just sleep with, but the wife, she's the one that you come home and talk to and take care of the kids and do this, this, and this. And then I told him, well, that sounds like she's doing extra work and free labor, and she's not even getting compensated for it. At least the woman that you go out there and just sleep with, she doesn't have to do all that extra work, and maybe she might get some money after it. And again, I'm not advocating for women not to get married. I advocate for women to get married to where it's beneficial and advantageous for them. And a lot of these guys out here, it's just not beneficial and advantageous to marry them. Like, when you get with a man and you marry a man, he's supposed to solve problems. He's not supposed to add stress into your life. Your life shouldn't get harder just because you married a man. Like, he should be getting with you. A lot of these men get with women so that they can extract free labor out of the free labor. Some of them already got kids and want to get with a woman and marry her so she can help him take care of whatever kids that he got. I know a guy doing it right now. He got a daughter that he got custody of, and he got married just so that woman could help him take care of his daughter. And she's been doing it for years. Well, 4 or 5 years. So, you know, and a lot of women, a lot of times when I see these men like actually marry women, it's because the woman has like a lot of assets and a lot of benefits, and he doesn't have as much. And so he marries her. So if something happens, there are women who get divorced from these men, and he takes her assets and he takes her benefits, or she has to pay him alimony. These men are plotting on women too.
Oh yeah, that's why they be up in a frenzy when I said no. Women should marry men for business, because when you do think about marriage as a business aspect, you're gonna choose to merge with the most qualified person. Because when it comes to, when you look on that point of view, like, what can I benefit from this union from you? That's literally what it is. That's what men basically are saying. Like, oh, if I'm struggling, I'm struggling down. Only thing I gotta do is get into a relationship with a woman, and she'll add in that 50% that I need. That's literally the business aspect that I am talking about when I say to women, no, marry men for business. And if you do want to collaborate with a man as far as marriage goes, you got to benefit it more than he's going to benefit from it. You know what I'm saying? That's why
That's
when
the
I be
crazy
hearing them.
part. T, that's the crazy part, T. It's like what you just said. I've literally heard a man on a panel say that. I literally heard a man on a panel that another man had advised him to find a woman and have a woman help him get on his feet. Like, to me, that's some sick stuff. That's some sick stuff right
Yeah,
there.
isn't it? That's like, to me, I said 50, that the conversation 50-50 is literally the male version of being a gold digger. They don't want to just say it out loud, so they use different type of terminologies, they use different wording, they use word solids to basically sum it up one word: use a damn gold digger. You a gold digger. If men are running around here, if a man look at you as a woman and say, yeah, the reason why I want to be with you is because I can get a house, honey, you being used. He's gold digging you. He want
And
to
that's
use your credit.
the crazy part, right? Like, it was mentioned in the comments that a lot of these men who marry women for free labor, they marry women for free labor, but a lot of them never get their stuff together. especially with the 50-50. Like if a man comes to you going 50-50, this is what I have seen, right? I've seen a man will want to go 50-50, and then next thing you know, he doesn't have his 50% of the rent.
Just
Or
1 second, Sage. I'm sorry. I
okay.
just wanted to respond to Jimmy Johnson 132 in the comments. I think that's your name. I don't know what you're talking about. Like the things that you're saying are not even online with what Sage or T is saying or what the prompt is about. So I'm not quite for sure if you're confused, but if you want to get in a box, you can answer question number 3. I would love to hear what you have to say about answering question number 3 or the other 2 topics. But what you're talking about, I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about black women going missing. You're talking about California. You're talking about all of these things. What the heck does that have to do with anything that we're talking about, sir? Like, be for real. All right, go ahead, Sage. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, yeah, but Tanitra in the comments made a good point that if a man, a lot of time, okay, this is the thing, right? Most Americans will not make a certain, like most Americans will not make over 100K a year. I think it's only like 20% of Americans that make 100K over the year. So it's like these men, and I don't know if y'all seen the movie The First Wives Club, but I think that's a prime example of men like marrying their first wives, and then once they get to where they want life, they leave their wives. But most men will not make it to a certain financial aspect. They'll never make it to making over 100K a year. So when they marry women or when they're with a woman, they're just with that woman to build themselves up. But most of them won't build themselves up. They don't know how to do things on their own. So because they don't know how to do things on their own, they're always sitting up there dependent on the survival of a woman. And if that survival entails marrying her because it's financially beneficial to them, like this dude that I know, the one that has this lady taking care of his daughter, they're not married yet or supposedly not married, but he's using her to wait and see if she could get a house so he could get put on the deed. So and it was just real obvious because I was listening to him talk. But that's basically the only time they will get married. The only time they will get married is if it's very financially advantageous for them to be with you. And then if they divorce you or they leave you, they could get spousal support. Oh, and this is the other thing I wanted to say, right? So I made a comment. I've noticed that, with Zendaya getting like married, everybody was like, "Oh, look at her mother. Look at her mother. She has a white mother and her mother taught her." I'm like, "No, it's not the mom. It's not the mom because they were talking about how the black women celebrities, a lot of them like Chloe or Hale Bailey, whatever her name is, Halle Bailey, what Hal Bailey. I keep forgetting how to pronounce her
Halle
name.
Berry.
Hallie, yes.
Gotcha.
I was thinking I wanted to say something else, but yeah, how they are, they're basically single mothers. They're not married. And they were trying to associate it back to the mother. I'm like, no, it's not the mother. It's not the mother. It's the fact that it's the socialization of the men. Because a lot of our black female celebrities who just had babies and who are single mothers and not married, you could associate with that with the fact that they're with black men, and a lot of black men are not socialized to be husbands. But
Mhm.
but what is her name? Tom Holland. Zendaya's with Tom Holland. Tom Holland, he's probably more socialized to be a husband because you see a lot of these white men, they get married. They get married. They'll get divorced, but at least at minimum they'll get married. But you see with a lot of black men, for some reason, they're just not socialized to want to get married.
They trying to waste your time for
Mhm.
15 years, 15 years and still not marry you or get you to have 50 million babies only to leave you alone. Just like I know y'all heard about the I think she's half Korean if I'm not mistaken.
Naomi Osaka,
Yes,
Japanese.
Naomi Osaka. Like you see, she wasted all that time with that Negro, and she was definitely downgrading to even talk to him in the first place. Now, soon, and then it's like as soon as they have the babies, these men start acting up. And honestly, I really believe that a lot of it is rooted in they want to leave the woman with a parting gift to that they feel like is going to slow them down, or they feel like is because I think that a lot of men believe babies are punishments. So they know that the woman is probably more than likely going to bear the her life is going to change crazy But his is not, because he ain't gonna be there, and he gonna be doing his own thing and popping in every other weekend if you feel like it. You know? But yeah, she's a perfect example too.
I
And I
forget
agree
all
with
their
you.
names, like Mona Leo, Flo Millie, Haley, Naomi Osaka. What's that other girl? The Disney girl. Oh, why am I forgetting everybody's names?
Star something. Star.
The one with the tall, skinny, light skinned
Yeah,
baby
isn't her
daddy that
name
she pulled
Star
out of
something?
prison.
Tag. I know exactly who you're talking about. I thought her
She's
name
real
was.
short. She's
I
real
thought her name. Oh,
short.
Sky
Sky
Jackson.
Jackson. Sky. Yeah, Sky. I think it's Sky Jackson. Her name is spelled Skai. She's the third baby mama of this dude that she pulled out of prison. The tall, skinny, light skinned dude.
And he looked goofy.
That's what I'm saying. And then I'm just like, good lord. I'm like, I'm noticing
That's
that, but I just
exactly
have.
what black men want us to do, though. Black men do not want us to aim higher. They want us to take them as they are at the starting point. That's what they mainly want to promote. They want to promote. They don't. If a woman thinks with her head and say, if I'm going to marry a man, I want to marry a man that's equally yoked to me or more accomplished. A lot of them will not qualify. A lot of them don't qualify. That's why also was part of their game is to tell women, no, 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 you have to build with a black man. You already know that we can't get there because of systematic racism. So you have to work with us. And all the while, they're just waiting for that time for you to pour into them. So, like you said, and get with the get with the next woman, or they're be with you for a long time until you're you get old enough that you become so-called undesirable, because men know how other men think. They'll get you at try to like pull you into a relationship and then basically use up all your youthful years and then walk away when you like 40 years old and be like, yep, got you, chick. Now nobody wants you. Thank you for the help. That's exactly what they want to do. Black men just want to walk away with no consequences or any type of any type of pull. That's why they prefer not to be married, because they was taught that marriage goes through a divorce and all this other stuff, and a woman can get access to your money. Men want access to women's body, but they do not want the women to have access to their money.
And what it's about, what I've learned, what it's about, like, there was this guy who made a video about the exchange of power between men and women. And what it boils down to is that if a woman, a lot of them, when they keep these women as long term perpetual girlfriends, a wife has some leverage and she can use the court system to balance the exchange of power between her and that man. Now, a baby mama, the only thing she'll be able to do is child support and to try to use the court system to balance the power scales. But I just think that it's also, they want to be able to walk away consequence free, and they want to be the one completely in control of the woman that they got pregnant or that they're with, and that she either has to comply with what he's saying or she won't be able to do anything at all. So this is one of the reasons why you see them complain about child support, is because they were probably so used to the baby mama doing what they said and having control over her, and then when she goes and files with the court system, the exchange of powers on her head is in her hands, and she has the whole law system behind her that's going to enforce that court order. And he's not used to that when it comes to her. He's probably used to being in charge. It's the same thing with them not being married. With them not being married, if she marries you, oh, and you act up, and she files for divorce, she can leverage her power in the court system as a wife. And they don't like that. And that's what I think it boils down
So
to
they
too.
think. Yeah, it is boiled down to that. So they think, but the problem is with that they don't have that money to feel so threatened. They remember, like we always say, and you always pointed out, say these men love to live through other men. These men idolize other rich men, or men who have money. Because you can have money but not be rich. They live their life through these other men, and then actually believe in their head, by looking at what happened to them, that can happen to these rich men, that can happen to them. Like Kevin Scorsese, the guy who did the movie with Whitney Houston. He
Oh,
divorced his
Kevin
wife.
Costner.
Yeah, that's his name. Okay, there you go. That's his name. Him.
The
One of the
bodyguard. The
articles, yeah, the
bodyguard.
bodyguard, the bodyguard,
Yeah.
him, the director, him, he got a divorce with his wife. One of the things that they pointed out in the articles that he has to pay $136,000 a month in child support. The amount of black men that were screaming how the system is unfair, all this other stuff. My thing is, sir, you don't even have $136 to give in child support, let alone 136,000. His problem is not your problem, and even that being one of his problems, you don't hear him on the internet complaining. You don't hear this rich man saying how the system is not fair to men. No, they just shut up and write the check. Your problems is not their problems. That's they issues. Even when I was sitting here and be talking about with my fiance, these men like really be getting upset, like as if it's their money I'm taking from them. As if they're the ones who signed the prenup that I'm gonna get his house and get money after the divorce. Like they get so angry. And
And
it's
that's the
not even
thing.
them.
Most of them sign this is the thing. Most men who have built something and have money and assets, they're not just gonna go into a legally binding contract like a marriage without having a prenuptial sorry, without having a prenuptial agreement and a postnuptial agreement. They have these things, and then on top of that, these type of people, they even have trust, and they put a lot of their assets in irrevocable trust and put their kids and people that they care about. I'm sorry, my throat is having issues. I don't know what's going on here. But they put people that they care about as trustees on their irrevocable trust to protect their assets. So that's why a lot of them, when they have to pay out these amount of money in alimony and stuff like that, it's stuff that was pre-agreed on a lot of times.
Okay, I was about to let troll control park. Okay, oh you okay, you requested by accident. Okay, yeah, because I was about to let you speak after Sage was done. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that you ladies are saying. I think that really at this point, marriage is being used as like I think it's being used in many different ways. One, it's like we said earlier, like a carrot they're dangling, a fantasy that they don't plan on even giving black women. It's also used as a shaming tactic to black women because for the life of me, I don't understand how you can shame black women for their marriage rates when you're saying that black women should be choosing black men and black men marry the least out of everybody. How you gonna shame black women? We don't have any control over who's getting married and who isn't. The only thing we have control over is seeing if you're interested in somebody and they not trying to get married, you dumping them and kicking them to the curb. But other than that, we have no control over that particular part. And this, like I said, this whole idea of these men now talking about raising girls up to be wives and stuff is, I think, it's just so toxic, and all it does is set up people for the okie doke. Because when I was on this live, this black man was talking about he's raising his daughter to be submissive and to understand her place and to understand that she needs to respect the black man and all of this other stuff. And that I'm just like, you're dumb because your daughter is definitely finna get played with hard. When she gets older, she finna get played with hard because I think that it's like, I don't know if some of these black men live in delusion because the majority of black men are not treating a black woman gently and kindly with care. They're not. So what that means is that they about to do the A-Town stomp on her heart and her feelings and her emotions and break her down to where then she's going to become one of those black women with the baggage that they say they don't want. Being soft and gentle in the black community as a black woman is not respected, is not encouraged, and anybody that acts like they want to raise black women to be that way is insane, and they're not even aware of the reality of the men that are in the community. And I tried to tell this man this, and I don't know. I don't think it registered to him at all that he was
He's
making
probably
that kind of
lying.
comment.
He's
Honestly,
either
I was about to
lying.
say that. Thank you, Sage. Great minds think alike. I was gonna say trigger. He's lying. He's lying. He's lying to make himself sound good, that he's sounding like he's being responsible, and he is not. First of all, you don't raise your daughter to be a wife. You raise her to be a good human being. You raise her to be a woman of integrity, a woman that's going to hold a particular standards that only men of worth would want her. Only man with worth she will choose. Because, okay, you teaching her to be submissive. You teaching her, supposedly, let's just say supposedly what he say is true. You teaching her how to be submissive only to the wrong man, because we all know black men are usually tyrants, and they want a woman that can, they want a woman that they can control. They want a woman that they can manipulate. Only thing you are doing is giving them an easier target. That's the only thing you're doing. You breaking down her self-esteem to put men on a pedestal. So so any man that gets with her, the only thing he got to say is, hello, honey. And right there, she's willing to wash her feet and drink that water. And that is not protecting your daughter. That's not protecting your daughter at all. What's protecting her is, like I said, is her having a self-esteem. That's the first thing he should teach his daughter, is to have self-love and self-esteem. Because if you even ask these men, what does a woman that is not a wife, how long it take for you to realize that this woman is wife material, I guarantee you they're going to stretch out the years. They're going to say 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. So you want a woman to prove that she's your wife for 10 years. And that's even if a maybe you're going to make her into your wife.
Oh, sorry, I was still muted. That you're absolutely right, and all it's gonna do is set his daughter up for the okey doke. I mean, the way he was talking, I mean, I don't know if he was lying or not, but he was fairly convincing, and that just made me feel scared because I was just like, wow, I just
Like somebody I
Was he
know, but I don't want to say
religious?
the
Was he
name.
religious?
yes.
So
I think
he's
I know who
most
she's
likely
talking
trying to
about.
sell those type of men, right? So if he is serious, those type of men, I hate to say it, but they may be into some things, some illegal things, or potentially selling his child. When they do stuff like that, unfortunately, because I've seen it happen.
Or for himself. That was one of the other things I was going to say. Or maybe he's grooming his daughter for himself.
That's what I'm saying. That too, because they also do that too. But somebody like him, yeah, he need to be on the FBI watch list. Somebody need to call the people on him, because it's like anytime you train somebody to be submissive and docile and this, that, and that, what type, what type of man that's gonna attract. That's not gonna
Usually
attract
comes
a
with
sweet, good man.
discipline. Yeah, that usually comes with discipline. They usually comes with harsh punishments. Like, how look at the circus. How did they train the dogs to walk on their feet upright? They starved them. They beat them. When it comes to, if a man want to talk about that, I'ma train my daughter as if she's an animal. The word train is
That's
despicable.
what I'm saying. And they only say
No.
this nonsense when it comes to the girls, but it's like, sir, do you have a son? And it makes me think of that guy. He's a newscaster on Fox News, and he said something about like disciplining a daughter or putting his hands on his daughter. And I'm like, why don't y'all have that same energy for y'all sons? Like,
Oh yeah, because I forgot he was also mentioning they were mentioning that like women are not obedient anymore. And I was trying to tell them that using the term obedience and obedience when it comes to women, the women are not dogs. Like you can't say obedience. That just doesn't even make any type of freaking sense. But anyway, let me go down here to Keithan. Would you like to answer number three? Let me send your yeah.
Sure. Why not? I mean, being a husband is simply being responsible. You're responsible for a family. You are a leader of a family. You're a manager of a family. It's really just that simple.
Could you tell me like what do you think the husband's job as far as like the wife, like how what his responsibilities are to her, like for her well-being and to like help her life, or do you think that that's a husband's job?
Well, as a husband, you're taking on you take on a wife, and you're responsible for her well-being. You're responsible for every part of her life, just like her father was. So it's really not too much different.
Okay, so you said it's not much different from her dad, so you think that you're like in a parental role then?
I never said that. I
Well,
said
you
it's
said
not
it's
too
like her
much.
dad.
I said just like a father, it's not too much different.
Oh, okay. So what's difference between the father and the husband dynamic?
Well, you're talking to what you're specifically talking about is I said the care, you said the well-being. So that's what the father does, right? The father cares for the daughter, her well-being, and so the husband does the same thing. You got to remember, in a marriage, the father just exchanges hands with the son-in-law, correct?
Uh
And that father has to make sure that son-in-law is equipped to take care of his daughter.
Okay, I the reason why I was kind of asking is because I just wanted to know, like, you know how like people always have very clear roles for women in marriages. Like women, they think that women are supposed to cook, they're supposed to clean, they're supposed to be submissive, they're supposed to do a lot of the child rearing. And do a lot of improving of the man's life and making the man's life smoother and better. I was wondering what responsibilities you think the man is supposed to do to make like tangible things that the man is supposed to do to make the woman's life easier, or do you think that that is even his responsibility?
I'm not. I really do not understand what you're asking me because from what the way that I understand marriage, I mean,
Can I say something? I think specifically, what do you mean by well-being? Because just saying that is just like an overall statement, like the father used to do. Like, what do you mean by well-being? Like, what's
I
the
mean, I
well-being
mean,
of the
I
woman you're
mean
taking
her.
care of?
I mean, hold on. I got several questions coming at me. I don't know which one I should answer. So, and
They
what
all the
she's
same questions.
no, they're not the same questions. They're different questions. There's different questions. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what exactly are y'all saying. What's the overall point that you're trying to get at? Because I understand I have a daughter, right? My daughter is about to get married, and I raised her um, with the understanding of the man that I am and what she should expect from a man, right? So as a father, the man that I vetted for my daughter, he has to measure up to the man that I am, or I have to approve of that man. He has to be a man of balance, order, structure, discipline, a godly man with principles, laws uh, that he follows, that he goes by. He has to take care. He has to have a job, a place to put my daughter, right? So he has to have good temperament, but he also has to be able to lead her as well. So I'm trying to figure out. This is not rocket science. I don't know why it's rocket science, but it
Nobody's
seems to be
saying that it's
rocket
rocket
science.
science, sir. Is that you're not answering the question that people are asking you. We
What?
specifically ask you what the heck the man is supposed to be doing. You keep talking about laws and stuff like he's a jail warden. We said, what exactly is the man doing to make her life better? I just gave you a million different instances of what women do, a wife would do that men generally assume that women are going to do to make that man's life better for him to marry her. You hear men saying it all the time. Oh, I need a wife to cook. I need a wife to clean. I need a wife to be submissive. I need a wife to do what I say. I need a wife to open her legs when I want her to, et cetera, et cetera. These are the things I'm looking for that will make my life better as a husband. And this is why I'm going to marry her. I said, what do you think a man is supposed to do that would motivate a woman to marry him? What is he doing for her that would make her life better other than being her daddy? Is what I said. So does that make sense now?
Well, I said everything I already said. That's what he will be doing.
You didn't say
I
nothing
mean,
except like acting like you were the
I
daddy. You said being a man of God. You said putting in laws. That has nothing to do with making her life better. How was putting in laws gonna make somebody's life better? How is
ma'am,
being a
if you
man of
put
God if you don't give me
collectively,
any things behind being a man of
collectively,
God?
col-
What is that? How does that contribute? You giving me exact examples. You didn't give me anything.
collectively, all right. So collectively, I said a lot. Now, we were talking about
You didn't though,
if you
man.
quote
We
over,
we
if you
asking for.
ma-
I think
allow
they're
me to
asking
speak,
for specifics. I think
allow
they're
me to
asking
speak.
for
What I'm
specifics as to what is it that he's going to do, not what type of person he is or how he's so much like you, but what specifically does he do? Like, how is he supposed to care for his wife and do things for her? Mentally, spiritually, all of those things.
I mean, I said all of that. You guys are so as a husband. One would be provision, right? Provision is just not financially. Provision is many different things. So you're talking about what you're looking for is a full breakdown of something that um, that's not going to happen in five
Okay, you
minutes.
said provision. You said provision. Is he providing everything? Is he paying all the bills?
I just said it's more than that.
Okay, so
So
then give me two other things that's included in provision.
um, well, also in provision there's safety. Okay, there's listening in provision. There's wisdom and guidance in provision.
Okay, so
I'll
in
just stop
safety,
right there.
you mean that in safety, how is he doing that? Is he outside with the blick so that anybody that comes up, what exactly is safety? What is he doing to provide her with the safe environment other than just his presence?
Say that part one more time. You said just his presence.
Okay. I'm gonna. Mia wants to ask you a question. Maybe she can get you to understand what everybody's asking because it's everybody. It's not like it's just us that's on the panel. It's people in the comments saying that you're not actually answering the question because you still have yet to give something like concrete and tangible. Like I mentioned, cooking. That's a very clear cut thing. Cleaning, a very clear cut thing. Taking
Well,
care of
let
the
me let
kids is a
me
very
let me
clear
help.
cut
Let me
thing.
let me give an example of when I was married. Okay, I went to work every day. Right at that time, I worked
Wait,
three
hold
jobs.
on. Wait, hold on,
Um,
hold on, hold on.
I
Mia,
want to
you can
finish
go
my
ahead.
statement, please. So what
Hold
I'm
on,
saying
Mr.
is, I went
Keaton.
to. Let me finish my
Hold
statement. I
on.
was.
No, she's already moved it on to me, and all you're doing is giving us a backstory about when you was married and you're not married. Awkward. But I wanted to understand a different approach because maybe there's a disconnect with us being able to speak to you. Like because the things that you're naming sound like I don't know if it's biblical or if you believe that men are inherently or their God given right is that they are to be in control and dominate and lead women. Um, so I want to know is that your view about men?
As it relates to marriage, not men and women in general, but as it relates to marriage,
No,
marriage.
men and women in
No,
general,
no.
because you've already explained the marriage aspect and you compared it to a father passing on his control and dominance of his daughter to a man, and then the man takes on controlling and dominating his daughter. So I'm saying, with that understanding of those dynamics, do you feel that there is an inherent or there is a God given right that men lord over women in general?
You said Lord. Well, again, what I was saying is the way that I believe and the way that God structured is God, man, woman, child. That's
Okay,
it.
so you do. Okay. So you're basing it from a biblical standpoint.
I
So,
don't know. I don't know any other way.
okay, that's fine. God bless you. I'm a woman of the cloth, so I get it. The thing that's interesting is being that you're a black man, how did God structure that as being a black man under the rule of YT man? So
I
is
don't
it
understand you.
YT man? Is it God, YT man, YT women, YT children, black man, woman, children? Is that the way God structured it?
It was structured the way that I stated before.
But where do you fall? But we know that YT men have ruled over black men for a very long time. So where do they fall on that structure? Because you're a black man. So
Yeah.
the only power you had was over your women and children. So why don't we talk about that? Talk about how you're submissive and docile to YT man and his
Ma'am,
family.
ma'am,
Did the
that
YT man pass you on to someone, and then there you took up the idea of passing your daughter on to someone else because you was passed on.
I really don't even understand why you even adding this in. That it
I
doesn't
know,
make
I
sense.
know it's uncomfortable. No, it does make sense. You're just
It's not
uncomfortable with
uncomfortable.
it.
It does.
And it's
No, I'm
okay to
not
be
uncomfortable at
uncomfortable.
all,
You're very
ma'am. I'm not
uncomfortable
uncomfortable. Why would I be uncomfortable? You asking me questions?
because you don't
I've
want to
had
talk
listen,
about how YT man lord over you, and but you do want to talk about this fake idea that that you have this authority to pass your daughter on like it's a Saturday at a slave auction.
ma'am. Uh, what you talking about and what I'm talking about are two different things. I believe in God. I believe in the way that He structured everything, and I follow
And I
that.
said, well, let's talk about how God structured a YT man to be over you.
Well, you know
Nope.
what, Ethan, I would like, to find out if you believe this deeply to God and his in what you believe to be the construction of the hierarchy of where men and women are. I would like to know what other things in your life are you following everything? Are you out here having intercourse? You a virgin,
My
Keithan?
my
Were you a
my
virgin when
my
you got married, Keithan?
my complete life since I was a child,
So
I
you were a
followed.
virgin when
I
you got
followed.
married, Keithan?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't a virgin at all. I was SA'd as a kid, so I wasn't a
Okay,
virgin.
well, outside of that, I'm sorry to hear that that happened to you, Keithan, but outside of that, did you have intercourse with anyone else consensually before you got married?
Why is this relevant?
It's relevant because I find that a lot of times there are a lot of men that want to conditionally use the Bible and so-called
Well,
biblical principles, but they don't follow some of things that are noted in the Bible to be very serious sins and things that you're not supposed to be doing. So if you were
well,
not a virgin when you got married, Keith, then that definitely means that you only want to follow the Bible and its principles when you feel like it can benefit you. And that's not something
no.
that you should be doing at all. And I think
Well,
that that is actually what the women, well, I think that's kind of what Mia was trying to get you to understand. You can't pick and choose what you want to follow or the things that you feel like benefit you or,
ma'am,
oh, I can die. Is that not right? Is that not
no.
what the Bible
Let,
says?
let, let, let me help you out.
No,
So
I'll help you
there
out.
was
Just answer me the
let
question.
me
Were you a
let me
virgin?
there
Yes
was
or no?
there
Ethan?
was a
That's
there was a
no, I
time
would like
where
you to stay on topic and answer the
I am
question that
on
I asked
topic.
you.
I'm going to
Were
I'm gonna
you
answer
a
your question,
virgin when you
but
got
not the
married,
way you
Ethan?
want not
It's
the way
just
you
that
want me to.
simple. It's either yes or no question. Were you
There
or
was
were
a
you not?
time in my life. There was a time in my life where I wasn't practicing God's godly principles. So of course there was a time where I was out fornicating, sleeping around.
Okay, so when you got
So
married to your wife, were you fully into your biblical principles at that time?
yes, I was.
Okay, so did you and your wife have intercourse the first time on y'all marriage night or not?
Yes.
Okay. And what are you doing right now with yourself?
What do you, I'm working.
Are you a celibate abstinent man?
I'm raising. I'm actually engaged. I'm
Okay,
raising my
so
children.
so you're a celibate abstinent man right now, right? Since you're just
Correct.
engaged.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I would like to let you know something. I don't necessarily know if I totally believe that, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But I will let you know something that I think that it is very problematic when men misuse the Bible and use things. You are not supposed to put yourself in a position like you mentioned, like the daddy role, and that it's God, man, woman, children. It oftentimes mentions so many different scriptures in the Bible that men are supposed to serve. That's why Jesus was out here washing people's feet, even though he was God's son, because it is the man is supposed to be in a servant role. You're not anybody's daddy. You're not anybody's ruler. You're not anybody's boss. The woman is not there for you to dominate over her and tell her what to do. Like you mentioned, the son, the dad is passing the daughter off to the husband like she's some type of a cow or property. I think that single handedly, a lot of the men that say things like that, y'all are wholeheartedly responsible for so many women being disgusted, with religion, Christianity, becoming atheist, and a whole host of other things, because you only want to follow the things that make you feel like you can be in a position of power over women. And just like Mia was saying, this power that you want to exert over women, you very rarely ever attempt to exert any type of power over the real person that dominates you, which is the white T man. And I think that's what she was trying to get you to understand, is that why is it that the only time you can have quote unquote big nuts, or you feel like you want to have this domination and control, is over women. You never take that idea of you wanting to be dominant over anyone else other than people you deem to be weaker than yourself. That's the problem.
Host, did you notice
Well,
when hold on one second, I want to ask the host something. Did you notice that when you were asking him about, was he a virgin, he stated that he was SA. And I thought that was interesting the way he placed it, for one. But two, like, if you understood SA, you would not think that that was you losing your virginity. So I always find it odd when men do that. And I'm sure he would say it was like a babysitter when he was like 8 to 12, or it's the same, whatever. I'm sure he'll say something like that. But regardless if it's true or not, why would you understand that, how horrific that is, and label it like that would be you losing your virginity? Because we already know virginity is a made up concept. We already know the medical and the deeper part of it. But if I'm a victim of SA, I'm not counting that as like a voluntarily, like a thing that happened. So I just thought that was interesting, and it goes into his psyche, which I think is on full display. But I didn't know if y'all had caught that.
Yeah, I also caught that when after saying that, okay, what a woman that you did consensually. Oh, I was just like basically around the area, like basically he was just giving out pee left and right, and it's like that's what you could have said in the first place, that no, I wasn't a God fairy man in the first place, and then like basically saying, well, I couldn't have been a virgin because I was SA. Then, oh, I wasn't a God fearing man my whole life. It would have been just simple just to say that. But I'm not here to police his words. He can speak however he want. It's just I mean, I'm just saying, he could have just stuck to that. Say, hey, I wasn't a God fearing man my whole life. I bet. But to say, well, I couldn't have been a virgin getting married because I was saved. Which one was it, sir? Was it the tragedy that made you not a virgin, or you wasn't a God fearing man? Which one?
all right. Are you guys done?
No,
Um,
no, actually, we're not. Because the thing
Okay.
that's too T is that he's not God fearing. A lot of men like him who try to talk this Christianity thing, and host, you are absolutely right. It does scare people away because it's a lie. But the men who speak the way that he speaks typically believe that they are in God's image. So I'm gonna translate that. He thinks that he's God, so he doesn't believe in God himself. He just uses it as a way to
Right.
control. And he
Well,
also tries to hold on one more thing. He also tries to dominate and control us on this panel. He's talking to the host, trying to tell her like he's running something. He came up to your panel to have a
uh,
conversation with you and your panelists, and he's trying to assert some dominance because he actually doesn't have any control. He probably is being his fiance, if that's true, is probably the breadwinner for all we know. Because he
Got a
has to pay his child
wife,
support.
married for 20 years, got a fiance now. I'm confused. So this is his second marriage. He's going on his second marriage then. All right, which is nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. My fiance, this will be his second marriage with me too. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I also just want to just point out how men are so obsessive with trying to teach their daughters how to be submissive. What you should teach her is to have a backbone. So a man cannot sweet talk her into his bed, because that's the number one thing she has to have. She has to have a backbone. She has to have a mind. She has to remain intelligent. Like, even though, let's just say you don't, I can hear him say, I don't care what y'all say right now. It don't bother me. But you will want your daughter to have this type of clap back. So this way, when a man step to her and talk, he can't just say any old bullshit. She's going to clock him in everything that he say and analyze it and listen to the words that he's saying and understand definitions. That's the number one thing that I would say men should concentrate on, instead of preparing them to be a docile, dumb wife. You want your daughter to be a smart woman. You want her to be a smart woman. If he get busted cheating, he ain't gonna sweet talk her into forgetting that he cheated. Or if she have a STD, that he ain't gonna sweet talk her and saying that he caught it from the toilet. You don't want her to be so naive as well. Like, that's the ultimate protection. A man cannot provide her that protection. She has to provide her own protection and not to let a man manipulate her and gaslight her.
All right, Keithan, did you have anything to say in response to T or Mia?
Well, they know my life, so I mean, I don't know if I have to say anything since they know my life 100%. But I will say that I don't have a need to dominate women or to be in control of a woman. That I have no need for that. Um, Coming from, especially from my childhood, I understand what it means to be controlled, and why would I want to inflict some type of control over somebody? I don't have the need to dominate anybody. That's crazy. I mean, I don't want to be dominated. Why would I want somebody? Why would I want to dominate anybody?
I
Why
mean,
would I
I
want
think
to?
that when you
Are you gonna
compare.
allow me to finish?
Hold on.
I'm
I
just
just
curious.
wanted to interject just to respond to that point that you said. All right, please watch yourself. I just wanted
Sure.
to say that I find it to be strange if you compare marriage to a parental relationship. You have to understand that people are going to make the connection that that is some type of control or domination because parents control their children. They have to. So if you use the only comparison that you made to marriage was of a parent and a daddy. So yes, that's what any thinking person would read between the lines and feel like that's what you think marriage is about. But you can go ahead.
No, I mean, so I see I have to break this down a little bit further. When I spoke of a father, I wasn't talking about being dominated. I was talking about the things that a father provides to his daughter. That's exactly what I said in the beginning. I never said anything about controlling the daughter or anything. I never
You
said
didn't
that.
mention anything a father
I said
provides to his daughter. That's what we said in the beginning.
I
You
I
didn't
did
mention
say that.
anything.
I
All
did
you
say
said
that.
was laws. You said laws, telling a woman what to do, giving
I
her
never said that.
provision, but yet you didn't say what a man provides. You didn't even answer my question about income or working. You never gave any concrete answers or anything. All you said was words that would require you to expound upon it, and you did not expound upon it. That's so please don't make it like everybody up here is daft and can't comprehend. We can fully comprehend what you're saying. You just said a lot to say nothing at all.
Sure. And I did say provision. Then I went on to say, I said, well, let me say what I did when I was married, right? And I to give a better example, right? I do remember saying those things. And then I was cut off momentarily
You
after.
didn't say what you did to your wife, but you can go ahead. I'll make sure that you're not interrupted. You can tell me what you did for your wife. Please go ahead. We won't interrupt you. Go ahead,
So
sir.
I'm trying to go back to the original thought that I had and responding to when you asked me to respond to the other young ladies. So I'm trying to figure out, what do you want me to talk about?
Okay, you know what? You can respond to whichever one you want. I'm gonna mute up. You got 2 minutes.
All right. So I was talking to the young lady that was saying that my fiance is the breadwinner. It's interesting how you just guys just put me in a category. Don't even know me, but put me in a category in your mind without knowing me. And then you say I use the word of God for convenience to fit a narrative to control women, right? Which is crazy. Which is not something that I do at all. Um, I'm a man of principle, order, structure, and discipline, right? I provide for my family. I'm a single father. I've been a single father for quite some time now. So to be put in a category without you even knowing my life is crazy. That you're making an assumption about me that you don't even know. I land. That's it.
I think that a lot of times that men, I'm not understanding what it's like. Let's say I came up here on the panel and I said, I work at this job. I'm not going to tell you what job I work at, but I'll tell you that I take this orange ball and I shoot it in a hoop. I do crossovers. I do dunks. I got major hops. I slam dunked the basket, but I didn't say that I played basketball. And that people could reasonably assume that I played basketball, even though I didn't mention that I actively played basketball. So I think what it is that people aren't making assumptions. It's simple, deduction when you hear the things that certain men say. The things that you said previously, the things that you said about the dynamics between man and woman, the things that you use as examples, because when we use examples, when we say things, those things are coming from somewhere. You may not realize it. It may be on a subconscious level, but there's a reason why you compared marriage to parenting. There's a reason why in here, when you're talking to these women, the first thing you mentioned was the man's position of superiority or your perceived superiority over the woman. So what I'm saying is that any woman that would hear you say these things, especially with the things that men say oftentimes on social media, it would easily be able to come to the conclusion that you are someone that uses the Bible and uses your manhood or whatever to think that your designated position is into some type of superiority or headship over the woman. And I have no idea why you don't think it would be easy for you to come to that conclusion. It would be just like I said if I gave you the analogy about the basketball playing, even but not saying that. I would say, wow, why would you guys think because I said that I slam dunk and I got hops and I be crossing over dudes that I play basketball? Why would you guys think that? Like it's very easy to see that. um I'm gonna go ahead and go down here. I just added somebody else up. Hopefully, she's able to connect. Oh, well, she dropped down.
Dark
But
Truth didn't have a turn.
yeah, go ahead, Sage.
I'm just saying Dark Truth didn't have a
Oh, did
turn
you have
yet.
something to say? That's my husband,
Uh,
y'all, for anybody that doesn't know.
yeah,
Babe, did you have anything to say?
I was just gonna say, to what's it, Keithan? Like I said, that's why I was saying the specifics of what it is that you're trying to say, because I mean, I get what you're saying about being a man of faith, leader, all of those things that you said, but it's specifically what it is that you do, because you can be that way, but that doesn't mean that you can translate that to like your wife or your significant other, or that men will act in that way. So when they asking for specific, like what do you do for your wife? Like you said, you help vet your daughter's fiance. Did you say like he is a man of God that prays? I've seen him pray heavily. He prays with my daughter and stuff like that. Like he helps her with making her sure that her mental state is always on par. Things like that. Like what are those things that are specific is what everybody is trying to get you to draw upon when it comes to what is the things that a husband is supposed to do. Also, like the host said, like my wife said, as far as Christ did come to serve. So it's when a lot of men go up there and they try to bring up the whole head of the household, Christ is the head of the man. It's like Christ, the man, the woman, and then the child. But Christ came to serve, and he also told the man to be ready to give his life for his wife. You know what I'm saying? Like you're supposed to love your wife and be willing to give your life for him. So that lets you know that the man is at a position of being a servant also to the family, not just like he's this leader or dictator and stuff. So it's like when you say it in that way, people infer that you mean that you are some type of dictator or a tyrant lording over the family. When Christ himself said we're not supposed to lord over each other at all, period. So that's where a lot of the confusion comes in, or if it's not confusion, if that's what you actually meant, as far as being lording over people, then it's like you either have to own up to that or clear it up and explain it. And this is what I'm saying about the specifics of it all. Like you generalize on a lot of stuff that a lot of dudes come on here and they just generalize and say, but they don't really have any meaning behind any of it. And so they're trying to get you to give the meaning behind the things that you say. That's all.
Okay. So first off, when I think of leadership, I've been a leader ever since I was a kid, and leadership is servitude. I was in the military, servitude. I've served in ministry, servitude. I serve my family, servitude. That's all I do is serve. I understand being a leader is not a boss. A leader and a boss are two different things. Leader empowers people, right? A boss wants to be empowered by the people. It's a big difference. So I do understand Ephesians chapter 6 when it says that a man is to love his wife like Christ loved the church. And so he sacrifices himself. I understand that. I understand sacrifice. I live a life of sacrifice. I live a life of sacrifice with my family, with my children. I'm a single parent. I have custody of my children. I do not lord over my children. I do not lord over, and I didn't lord over my ex-wife when I was married. So I don't need somebody in my life to control them to feel empowered. The first person I must learn how to lead is myself. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So um, I don't have that sentiment of needing to rule somebody. I don't need that. I spent years of being celibate. Um, I'm not ruled or controlled by smecks. None of those things. I'm not that dude. I'm really not.
Okay,
I'm the
I because you like hogging the mic and you speaking in Negro like, and it's very like poetic, like speaking in parables, like you doing a sermon
oh
on the mountain or
goodness.
whatever the nigga said. Like it's so strange, like the HR speech on a Monday morning after a long holiday weekend. Like we got it, spare us. The thing that's always interesting about these type of conversations is that here we are, strangers on the internet,
Mia, did you
huh?
say Negro thetical?
Yeah, Negro tentacles, girl. Like they think they dropping hot bars. Like they think they eating the folks up. Like
Why would you
using
say
like
that?
because that's what it is. Like this, like it's Shakespeare in 1532 or whenever that nigga was moving around. Like
Oh,
it's
I'm about to
so
mute my mic.
bizarre. It's so bizarre to me. Like it's the pimping and the preaching that is so unbecoming. Like we are so intelligent. These women, like I know for a fact, the host and Sage and T, I know them like pretty well. They are so intelligent. You can't get nothing over on them. You can't pull a fast one on them. And I don't give a fuck. So you definitely can't pull one on me. So it's like it's weird, like sparrows. And to the point that I was gonna make though, the thing that's so interesting to me is this need that a lot of men, but people, well, I'm gonna speak to men because that's the topic. Men have where they spin their wheels trying to prove that they're not these bad people instead of actually being good people. Because why do you need to try to prove to us that you're a good person? And I say that with all disrespect, but also like trying to give a fair like help to you, give you fair advice. You can't change nobody's mind. Whatever the ladies on this panel, the gentlemen on this panel, or the people in the audience, whatever they feel about you, you can't tell us, oh, I'm a good person 5, 10 times, and that's gonna change our mind. So even if you are, why do you need to prove that to us? If you're a good person, be that. And that goes to the leadership thing. You don't come into a situation and you have it set up to where it's God, the man, the woman, and the children, and say, I'm a leader who serves. Because leaders just lead if that's the case. Like just gonna lead, like if there's a situation, there's something going on and you feel like you got the right answer to it, you just jump into action. You don't need to set up a situation to where there's a hierarchy. And the ladies on this panel and the gentlemen on this panel, we understand the social statuses, we understand these social systems. We're very in tune, very intelligent. You can't tell us that your piss is rain. We understand what's going on. We get it. So when you try to say, "Oh, I'm a leader and I serve," and then all the things that you're talking about is you being a boss, is you lording over people, is you being dominant, like you're not going to be able to convince us you're a good person. You're not. You're not. You're not a good person. And that's just the bottom line. And I do feel like we done heard your story before. Y'all say the same stuff. And for you to not be able to keep your wife says a lot about you. Like, not you out here can't keep a woman. That's crazy. That's weird.
Yeah, I wish it was that easy. I'm glad you know me, so that therefore I don't have anything else to say. But you know,
Good.
the thing that's crazy is
Awesome.
the thing that's crazy is that your mind for you to say that about something. Notice I haven't said anything bad about any one of you, correct? So for you to say that about me, all those things about me, that like you know me, right? You just basically, well, I want to hear that he's singing Negro spirituals, right? For you to just judge me like that says a lot about what's going on inside of you. I
Yeah,
would
it
never
says that I'm
say,
honest. I'm
I would,
honest. I don't
ma'am,
lie. I don't get
ma'am,
on the internet and lie. I say how I feel. So
that's
yeah,
cool.
you're a loser.
That's cool.
I
But,
mean that.
but you don't know me to be a loser. How you gonna call me a loser? You don't know me to be a loser. That's crazy. I would never call you a loser because of the respect that I have for myself. I wouldn't call you that. I wouldn't try to tear you down. Why? What am I going to gain for tearing you down? I get nothing for that. I don't get a star for that.
Sir, I don't care. Like, my respect for the host is why I'm being reserved. But don't nobody give a fuck about what you're talking about. You don't have no moral high ground to try to sit high and look low at me. Like, nigga, you a loser. I said that shit with
Right.
my chest. And if you think
That's
something wrong with
that's
me, so
that's
you don't got the character to talk to me. Like, nigga, you a fucking
that's
loser.
okay.
You on the
That's
internet trying to
that's
tout
okay.
this bullshit religion, and you're a loser. You're a
Nope.
weirdo.
That's
So what?
okay.
I don't give a fuck what you think. You ain't no hell of a nigga. You ain't no top tier type of motherfucker. You're
That's
not a good guy. You don't
that's
have good
okay.
moral standing. You can't
That,
even keep your family together, sir.
that's
Shut up.
okay. That's okay. And you know what? And I'm not going to respond to anything you said negatively. And I appreciate you sharing your thoughts. Okay? Because that doesn't bother me. That doesn't shape what you think about me. Doesn't change one thought in my mind.
So move on and have a conversation because I already said I'm very disrespectful and I'm reserving my disrespect because I respect the host. I fuck with her tough and I respect the other ladies. But all you have to do, if you feel like you're above me morally, then take your high ground ass and talk about the topic. Don't talk to me because I'm gonna get disrespectful. I'm gonna get even
That's
more
that's
disrespectful because I don't give
that's
a fuck about
okay.
what you're talking about.
That's okay.
So
That's
talk
what you
about the prompt.
if that's
Just
what you
focus
need
on
to
the
Okay, you
do,
prompt.
guys.
that's fine.
Okay, you guys.
Can I
I
say
just want to.
something?
Yeah. Let me just interject here real quick, you guys. I want us to have, of course we have differing opinions. This is always going to be a safe space for Black women. That's the whole purpose of my platform. So I'm never going to, make Black women feel like I'm tone policing them or feel like they can't express themselves how they want to express themselves. That it may be considered to be double standardy or whatever the case may people may think, but I don't care because I feel like very rarely are Black women favored or centered or even given a position of where someone could think that there's a double standard being used, if that makes sense. So I allow Black women to speak freely here, period, no matter what's being said. So I wanted to say that, number one. But number two, Keith, and I did want to address, I think that um I don't know if you're unaware or maybe you are, or maybe you are unaware. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But the things that you said, the way that you said it, even the responses, like when people were talking, like, the laughing and you saying, hey, you need to break something down, or the condescending way that you spoke, all of those things contribute to like a almost firestorm of Black women when you're engaging with Black women who are already faced with ignorant Negroes every day. Now, I'm not calling you an ignorant Negro because I'm not going to do that because I don't know you. Now, I'm not going to say to anybody, all the other women have to do that or not. That's up to them, however they choose to express themselves. But I would like to say that when you say certain things, and you project a certain thing and you jump into certain topics, that's going to contribute to a certain type of perception of you. And women that may have given you the benefit of the doubt previously may not, because of certain things that you say. it's like, it's like people that, like, I'll give you an example. It's like white tea people that use the N word with the hard R, just like other maybe extreme racist or white supremacists might use. And they may get busted for using it, and then people are going crazy, and they'll say, like, hey, I'm not racist like that. I'm not one of those people that would do that or would hurt you or would do that and the third. Well, okay, well, you say that, but you're using some of the same terminology. You're using some of the same statements that those other people that hate us use. So once you do that, it makes you difficult to discern who's who when you do that. So when you come up and you talk about the passing off the daughter, you use parental role when you're addressing marriage and all of these different things. That is what gives people the perception of a negative perception. Dare I say it, you people might respond to you in a different way than they would have. That's all I'm trying to say. I appreciate you for coming up. I see you dropped, hey, thanks for coming up. It still took, I feel like a definite amount of bravery to come up and knowing that what you might say might not be well received. But like I said, I'm just a host. So sometimes, y'all, I try to be the buffer instead of letting everything go, whatever. But I don't want y'all to feel like ever that I'm trying to police y'all responses, because at the end of the day, 24/7, it will always be Black women over everything, period. So even if I say I don't agree with something that y'all said, I'm never going to say that I don't agree with it, because, unless I feel like it was detrimental to Black women. But other than that, I'm not, because I want this to be a space where we are centered above all, and say what you want to say, because I'm not going to ever be like, oh, spare that brother's feelings, Black woman. Like, I'm just not going to do that. And you can say that it's unfair, and it might be unfair, but that's just how things work here specifically. Sorry, but not sorry. But you can go ahead, Sage, if you have something to say.
Has anyone noticed how men can tell you a laundry list of things of what women need to be doing, but then when you ask them, well, what's the role of the man? What's the man need to do? They go quiet and they can't answer it. And I've had this conversation with men before. I'm like, okay, well, what are you supposed to do as a husband? And they'll just say provide and protect. That's it. Because they don't know. Because men spend so much time telling women, this is what you need to do for a man. This is what you need to do for a man. You need to cook, clean, be submissive, do this, do that, do this. But then it's like, why don't y'all take that same energy and teach your sons what they need to be doing as a husband? But see, they know everything about women's business and what we need to be doing, because these guys who come up here online talking about this stuff are degenerates. But when it comes to their turn to answer, because you notice, and I'm not talking about him specifically, but I just noticed that he didn't answer the question. The only thing I heard him say was provisions. But I'm like, you could elaborate. Like, it's not hard. All he had to do was elaborate on what he meant by provisions. Because I wanted to ask him, but he left. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, which is fine. But I'm like, okay, what do you mean by provisions? What do you provide? Because most of them, the only thing they can say, oh, I pay all the bills. But I'm like, it takes more than just paying all the bills and money to be a husband and a good father. It takes more than that. Trust me. If all women needed was money, then billionaires wouldn't be getting divorced from their wives. I had men say, oh, these billionaires get divorced. They couldn't even keep their wives happy. I'm like, probably because they were cheating and they were not good men and they didn't treat their wives well. It takes a lot more than just money. But of course, when it comes down to how they need to behave and conduct themselves as husbands, they're like deers with headlights. They don't know how to answer because they were never taught, because they're so worried about what we women need to be doing. And mind you, since he said he was a man of the cloth, a man of God, also keep in mind that a woman being in subjection of her husband was put on us as a punishment. Us being underneath them was put on us as a punishment. So a lot of times when I hear them talking like that, it just sounds like they do it and they say it just so they can punish us. And it's just, Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
And
I agree with
I
Sage.
I would have really felt better if when he was asked instead of play stupid, because just like you were saying, like, men are very quick to give out the responsibilities that they think women are supposed to be responsible for. Cooking, cleaning, being having your legs open for them, spread 24/7 and all these other things. But he can't think of three things. Like he could have easily said, hey, if my wife does work, my wife coming home, me being there for her, rubbing her back, rubbing her feet, cooking for her, taking care of her, making sure that she doesn't feel like everything in the world is on her shoulders. When we go outside, I make sure that she's completely safe. I always got my blick with me so that anybody's looking at her, I make sure that I'm protecting her. I'm making sure that I put money aside so that when we get older and we're retired, that we can go retire to a place that's beautiful and lovely. There was a whole host of things that he could have said, but he didn't say anything. And he spoke in generalities, which led me to believe that he doesn't even know. He doesn't even possess the tools to know what a man is supposed to do to cater to a woman, what a man is supposed to do to uplift a woman or treat a woman right or to be a great husband. Because if you can't say it here, then it's like, come on now, I don't believe you. You know what I'm saying? And then, it's like they act like you can't see context clues. You come on here, you're talking about your divorce, you're talking about you're a single father. All of those things, women don't normally behave that way. I'm not saying that there aren't any women that have just dipped on their kids. We know that there is. But the majority of women don't do stuff like that. So what is it that you've done? What are you doing? You already got an attitude on here trying to be smart and nice, nasty. So it's like, what were you doing to her? Were you gaslighting her like that? Since you think that you're supposed to be the head, but you don't have anything of what you're going to pour into this woman. Maybe that's why she dipped on you. Maybe that's why she left you a single father. So it's just like, I just didn't understand why it was so difficult for him to not simply say something. Like, you a grown man. I can tell you a grown man. So you should be able to, since you got a fiance now, you should easily be able to verbalize what you're doing for her. But he didn't have nothing to say.
Nope. But that's the thing. That's the thing, ladies. What we have to understand in black male culture, they were told that they were the prize. How women want to get married. Women got to put their best foot forward to prove to you that they are worthy enough to be a wife. So they literally didn't have to do anything. How can they answer a question when it was taught to them that when a woman, how they supposed to maneuver when they come across a woman, like, oh, you supposed to be like this, you gotta be like this, and if she want to prove she's not a gold digger, then she got to go on coffee dates. If she want to prove that she's a woman that's going to stand by your side if something happened, then you do this, then you do that. Do you do all of these whatchamacallit, what are these what's he called, these trust tests, these loyalty tests to a woman to prove something to you? That's the problem. Black men were told that they were the prize. Of course, they don't know how to answer that question. Women know the answer to that question because we were groomed to try to get the ring from a man. So we got to prove all of these. We have to prove that we're nurturing. We got to stay pretty. Got to stay thin. We got to make sure we're not combative. We got to make sure we're submissive. We got to make sure we cater to his ego. We got to make sure that we allow him to feel like a man, that we don't make him feel fun, that we don't judge him by how much money he makes. We as women, we have been groomed from another woman, from next women, mammies, pick me's, and all those women have basically was socializing us to worship male in the black community to like I said, to the point they don't know what it's like what it takes to be a husband. They just know that you're supposed to just choose the woman. That's all they know.
I just know that I'm just highly annoyed with the fact that a lot of men think that just because they have a phallus in between their legs, that's all they need. And I think, why we see so many men crashing out online is because they're realizing that just them being male isn't enough. A lot of black men, I think, come from environments where they're surrounded with pick-me women and male-identified women who basically treat them and tell them being male is enough, and then as they age they find out that it isn't enough. Or a lot of young women, they're thinking, oh, I need a man, this, that, the third, and then as they age they realize, wait a minute, I did all this to get this man and he's not doing anything except for taking for me. I was lied to about having a man, but it's really no benefit for us. Like it, I mean, I don't even know how this lie was able to go on so far, because most of these men are not beneficial to us. Most of them just take, and they'll put your head between the washer and dryer. Are there ones who'll give and won't put your head between the washer and dryer? Yeah, but I really think that those ones are very few and far in between, compared to these I'm tongue twisted, these degenerates that are running around crashing out online saying all this crazy stuff on the internet.
Yeah, I think that of course I agree with what everybody said, and host, I definitely respect where you was coming from. I think that it's important for us to all have like different approaches. The sinister part of me likes the different approach because I view it as like the bad cop, good cop thing. They love that. And the other part of me is like the logical part of me, the part of me that's not diabolical is like, yeah, I mean, it needs to be a balance. It has to be a balance, right? Because then we couldn't even have these conversations to expose things, right? I think it's a place for everyone. But somebody said in the comments, and like I forget the name. Sorry, I screenshot your name, baby, but I forgot. Said in the comments that we're good at I forgot how she said it. Sorry, but she was like, we're good at decoding. Basically, she was like, we're good at decoding gaslighting, and that's true. Through I believe that it's for survival in some ways, but I actually think that as we've been having these conversations, more women have become more aware, and Black women in particular are starting to recognize that we have been lied to and we have been played with. We have been sold this lie, and it's the lie is that our men are victims, and we owe them to um lick their wounds and put them on this pedestal so that they can get an opportunity to be like the YT man. And what I mean by that is the Black men have sold us this lie. They operate in this subterfuge of, look, we got a bad deal handed to us. Poor us. Black men get mistreated. Black men are this. Black men are not seen as men, and blah 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 blah. So Black women, you need to get on your hands and knees and put us on your back and help us reach the top. Yeah, when we get there, we're gonna dog walk you. We're gonna dog walk you on the way, and we're gonna definitely dog walk you there, because we're gonna have access to other women, and not only are we gonna dog walk you, use you, but we're gonna say that those women are desirable and your ass ain't even desirable. We're desirable. Everybody wants a mandingo, but don't nobody want you. And it's multiple things that they do, like, right, it's like we're fighting on so many fronts, it's ridiculous. But the point is, they convinced us that we have to help aid them in our subjugation. We have to help aid them in our oppression and marginalization. We have to help aid them in our abuse. And they get with the enemy and they dog walk us and degrade us and dehumanize us. And it's sick. And what we see with a lot of these men who come up on these panels, they are being way more disrespectful than what they may perceive me being. But the difference is, I'm a direct. I ain't no punk with it. I just say how I feel. I say what's on my mind. I don't try to put a mask on. I'm not hiding my feelings. I'm expressing them. And they come in here trying to be clever, trying to be slick. And that's what he was doing. I forget which one of you ladies said this, but he was being nice, nasty. He was being aggressive. He was being disrespectful. He was belittling the host. He was acting like he was like, let me teach you something, or let me help you out, like using those terms. He was playing stupid on purpose. He was insulting the intelligence of us here. He was being combative. It was a whole lot of things he was doing. He was just trying to do it in a slick way. And the irony of that, and I'm gonna land with this, because my thoughts be all over y'all. I'm sorry if y'all can't track, but they be all over. But the funniest thing, and what I'm always sitting back laughing at, is that his behavior resembles what YT women do. That's why I think sometimes they're a match made in heaven. I know that's controversial, but they be wearing each other out, and it's something satisfying about that. The part of me I say that's diabolical, I enjoy people running into their monster. I don't know why, but I do. It's like a sweet revenge.
You was on point. He was very passive aggressive. That's why when I was talking, when I was saying that, like, this is why it's imperative. It said if you have your daughter, you have to teach her how to dissect the bullshit that come out of men's mouth. Because like you see how we slicing and dicing you up on this panel, you most likely you're not gonna care. I called that out because I already knew his attitude that, well, I ain't doing nothing. I'm not hurt. I'm unfazed. That's the whole point why he was laughing off mute on purpose. Everything that he was doing was very passive aggressive to show us that we're not getting under his skin. Instead of just dropping, he'll rather sit there and taunt us to try to get us out our character, to get us upset. He did it. That's exactly what he wanted to do. And in my opinion, not even opinion, a leader won't do that. A leader will not taunt anybody, because the first thing you will learn how to as a leader is de-escalation. Like you learn how to de-escalate the situation and then taunting the situation. That's probably why he ended up being an ex-husband in the first place. Instead of just walking away, letting his wife have that his pride, his ego will get the best of him, and he cannot allow her to get the last word. And then when you read him for the filth, you met him with that aggression. Like basically you just telling him to his face that, listen, you don't fool me. You're full of shit. Blah, 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 blah. He started backtracking, and then he became a victim. So that's the funny what I found funny
Great
about that.
victim.
So you was on point when you said that he's like a white tea woman crying his white tea tears. Like, you started the fire and then it got lit. Now you crying, screaming fire. Which one is it, sir? You cannot sit up there and start shit, and then when you see the reaction, well, you don't know me. You don't know me. Y'all claim that y'all don't know me, sir. We seeing how the way your personality is. A man with a narcissistic personalities, and I don't like to call men narcissistic because that's a mental illness that you cannot diagnose somebody with that, without being a doctor yourself. But I'm just saying, just for conversation traits, for conversational reasons, that men who do have narcissistic personality traits tend to want to do that, will tend to want to get you out your bag and then turn around and say, why are you cursing me out? Why are you doing this to me? You see everybody? You see how she's treating me, everybody? Exactly like how these dudes be coming and picking up their kids 11 o'clock at night and put a recording saying how she won't let me see my kids. She won't let me see my kids. Sir, it's 11 o'clock at night. No, you're not
All
going
he
to
do
see
was
nobody.
answer the question. That's literally all he had to do. That's the only thing that bothers me is that, I mean, it was other stuff that bothered me, but that was just my thing. It's just all you had to do was answer the question. Question number 3, what is being a husband? And it's just like, why do you have to give us a whole backstory? Just say
He
like,
didn't know the answer. He didn't want to look foolish and say, well, I do not know, because that's not going to make him look good. That's
yeah,
what
and
men
it's
look.
like
Black men
anytime they
about
give
their
us all them
image.
extra words,
Yeah, all that word
all them
salad with
extra
no
words, that's a
dressing.
huge red flag. I don't need all them extra words. Like, just it's not hard. Like, just make it simple, make it easy. Like, it's not hard. Like, even Triggered, your husband came and even gave him an example of what he needed to say to answer the question, and he still didn't do it. And
Yeah,
it's just
he really did.
annoying.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I just didn't. I think I would say one of the least like favorite types of people that I don't like are fake people that pretend to misunderstand, like they're doing something and they know exactly what they're doing, but they act like they don't know. And I feel like that's what he was doing, and it was really getting on my nerves because I don't like that. But I was trying because I did want a man to come up here to answer number 3,
He's
even though
still
he
here,
never
by the way.
did.
He can hear everything we're saying.
Oh, I didn't know he was here. But
Nah, he's still here listening to everything we're saying. He's sitting here watching.
oh, well, I just
He
wish that
stuck.
he
That's
would have.
typical. That's typical. That's something I expected him to do. That's very typical. Going to see what these women are saying about me. Probably screen recording it. Probably thinking that I rally up
T, you got a call.
Yeah,
No,
I think
that's
you
just
got to
it. It's
call.
just yeah. No, he's still here. I could if you could click the number and it'll
Yeah.
show you that he's been sitting in here for a while. I've been checking. I think he's been sitting in here ever since he hopped off the panel. I mean, sir, you could come back up. Well, I mean, that's not my place to let you come back up, but I don't think Trigger kicked you off. So I
No,
mean,
he dropped. I didn't drop him. He dropped on his
Up to
own.
himself, he said, "Oh, have a good day, ladies," and left. And apparently, he did because he knew most likely if I wait, they're gonna talk about me, and I want to see what they got to say. I want to hear about them talking
oh,
about
we
me.
started talking about him immediately after he hopped off the
Yeah,
panel. I mean,
I normally don't drop men because I don't feel like he was like openly disrespectful. As far as like, when they be like cussing and like being super duper disrespectful to the women here
Hmm.
on the panel or to me. So like the stuff that he was doing, yeah, was disrespectful, but it was not enough for me to be like, you can't say nothing, especially since I knew that the three of y'all, I knew that he wasn't gonna be able to get get any far like with super disrespect. So I felt comfortable in still keeping him up here. So no, I didn't drop him. I was hoping that eventually